their cooperation, and what a great show it was from start to finish. In the co-feature tonight, Top Rank had, you know, a prized possession right here, who came through it like we hoped to. It was a tough fight. When Brad Goodman got the opponent, we knew it would be a tough fight. And in developing guys like Emiliano, just like with Fernando, he could have fought somebody else that would have been a second round knockout, but he really wouldn't have learned anything. So I told him the first thing in the ring, in about a year from now, or after your next fight, you'll realize how much better of a fighter you are. And it's because of what he had to go through tonight. And it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And this is just part of a learning curve, and he just passes it every time. So let me turn it over to him, Emiliano Vargas, for some opening comments.
Thank you, Carl. I really appreciate it. I want to thank everybody who tuned in. I want to thank Matchroom. I want to thank Top Rank, obviously, for the opportunity, being co-main event, getting bumped up. All the beautiful fans in Phoenix, I can definitely see myself main eventing here, no doubt. It was just a beautiful experience. I'm here to get the experience as well inside of the ring. You know, Quintana was an amazing fighter. He was slick, he was crafty. I had to pull something out of me differently, and I think that's part of growing. I'm only 21 years of age, and I know every other champion's 27, 30, 32, so I'm here, I want to learn, and you know, that's what came tonight, that learning experience, and I just want to go back to the gym and keep on learning. So I want to thank my father also for preparing me, you know, my sparring partners, you know, and it's on to the next, but definitely my respects to Quintana for getting ready and, yeah, taking me the full 10.
Not the 10, you stop with
9
Well, 9, I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go.
Guys, we don't have a microphone available, but if you can, we do, but it's on a very long cable. So hands for questions, please.
I don't need a mic, that's okay.
We'd like you to take the mic.
Okay. Hi, good job. You want a former champion for your next opponent. Are you looking at any former champion in any specific weight division?
I mean, it doesn't really matter. I want to step up the competition, no doubt. I know, you know, all of this prepares me for the world title, so I'm just very excited, very grateful to God that, you know, we got this opportunity to, you know, be in there with a great opponent, and you know, he beat Mark Castro, you know, which is another great prospect. He couldn't do that to me tonight, though, and I said that. You know, he was crafty, he was slick, he was a great fighter, but at the end of the day, we did what was necessary to get the job done, and that's what we did.
Right over here, Emiliano, congratulations. So was there points in the fight where you felt a little frustrated based on his awkwardness or his style? How were you able to maintain that discipline, and advice from your father to kind of pull through that?
Yeah, he was definitely a little awkward, for sure. You know, my father just kept on telling me, go to the body, you know, obviously be smart, and the shots opened up, so I'm just very happy, and obviously I listened to my father, so I'm grateful that we got the victory.
Answer questions, guys.
Hi, Emiliano, congratulations. Were you surprised that Agustin Quintana lasted as long as it did? Did you think the fight should have been stopped a lot earlier?
No, I think Quintana, obviously, you know, he was in there for sure. I saw him break in the 9th round, and you know, when you break somebody's spirit, you can definitely tell. So you know, that's the business that we're in. If he had the opportunity to hurt me or, you know, take my health away, he would. So, you know, that's the sport that we're in. We're modern day gladiators at the end of the day. So my hat's off to him, but, you know, we got the victory, and I saw him breaking down round by round. I felt very confident. Obviously, my last fight, you know, I went the full 10, and I learned a lot. Picked up, you know, definitely more defense, but, you know, this fight, you know, is I'm gonna grow definitely more from this, for sure.
Emiliano, congratulations, Rafa Sanchez. What do you think? What was the main key for tonight's victory?
I think just crossing all the check boxes off. You know, I prepare myself to the fullest, you know, during even the Super Bowl and everything else, all the craziness that was going on. Ring Magazine and flying here and doing this, I had to make sure that I had to get my work done at the end of the day, and we did that. So my dad was behind everything, you know, getting me all the sparring, getting me everything, and getting me prepared for this fight. So I'm just very happy. I'm very happy that I got to fight back here in Phoenix and feel the crowd and the energy. There was nothing like it. So, you know, I definitely just want to see we made event, no doubt.
Emiliano, felicidades. Congratulations on a great victory. 19 rounds between these last two fights. Talk to me about the difference of getting signed on to these longer, lengthier fights and actually getting those rounds under your belt.
I feel the growth. I feel the growth. I want to, like, I watched my fight in the locker room. I want to go back to the gym and work on everything. So that's the type of fighter I am. That's the type of person I am. I can't wait to be back in the gym. I'll definitely be back Monday.
Fernando, what was your takeaway from the fight? What did he do great? What can he do better?
No, you know what? We're in with somebody that we knew that he wasn't going to come and lay down. And Emiliano needs these type of fights to grow as a fighter. And he's only going to go up from here. And so I'm proud of his performance. You know, he listened to what I was telling him to do. He went to the body, and I'm like, this guy could take some body shots, man. And, you know, this guy's really seasoned where he's not trying to go down, you know what I mean? And we started picking it up, and we were able to get the stoppage at the end. So at the end of the day, I'm proud of Emiliano. He wasn't at all tired. He's a perfectionist. You know, he's gonna go and he's gonna sit with me and tell me, Dad, I don't like this, I don't like that, and I'm on time. Okay, we gotta correct this, we gotta correct that. And so I'm just very proud of him, you know what I mean? And Emiliano's the next face of boxing, and that's no spit.
I think also, you know, he'll fight 3 more times this year for sure. And as we've seen tonight, and as a result, the notoriety and his image is getting out there as a, you know, one of the more recognizable names in the sport, but he's also only 21 or 22 years old. So no matter who he fights, you're gonna get the best version of that opponent, because for the opponent, it's like a world title fight. You know, well, oh boy, if I beat Emmy, then I'm gonna get a payday. So he knows that. So that's why 7 weeks of training and not missing a day and doing what he has to do, he has to come more prepared the next time. But we wouldn't put him in that position if we didn't know that their team, his management, and his dad knew this. His dad went through the same thing. You know, everybody's gonna say, oh, I got a shot at Emiliano, you're gonna get a better version of whoever it is, but he'll be better because of tonight.
Last question. Thank you.
Hey, great performance, Emiliano. And speaking of the Super Bowl, yeah, we all saw you at the Super Bowl. So what are you doing as this newfound fame to keep yourself level-headed? Because sometimes it just gets to people, and then they end up going Hollywood. But how do you try to stay focused and just focus on being a boxer first and then a star later?
I mean, we think we keep the main thing the main thing. At the end of the day, boxing is the bread and butter, and put me, you know, in that position. And you know, I always say this. I say God's plans are greater than mine. So, you know, this year, you know, who knows what we have in store. I definitely know that I'm going to be fighting 3 more times, staying busy, staying active. But you know, I thank my team. I thank my father. I thank, you know, everything that's happened for sure to keep me level-headed and the type of mentality that I carry myself for sure. I want to get back in the gym. I want to have a new fight date. I want to keep on growing. I want to fight these top guys and pick up that experience at the end of the day. So I want to thank everybody a part of it. I want to thank the fans. I want to thank Matchroom. I want to thank Top Rank, The Zone. You know, you're going to see this face a lot more, a lot more. And, you know, whether they like it or they don't, it's happening, no doubt. Y a todo mi público, a toda mi raza aquí en La Finiquera, gracias por el apoyo siempre. Los amo con todo mi corazón y hay Vargas para darte de seguro.
Okay, guys, once again. Okay, guys, once again, raise your hands for questions for Eddie, please.
So we saw Devin was here ringside with you. We know his name has been thrown out with a couple of fighters, Keyshawn Davis and Ryan Garcia being one. They've even gone as far as to say that he's ducking them, or Ryan even said in his press after the fight that Devin has PTSD and fighting him. Is that a fight that we're going to see happening or make happen anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, Devin's not my fighter, but you know, we've had some good history. Sometimes not so good, but generally we've got a great relationship. And I was just talking to him. You know, I think he's a phenomenal fighter. Sometimes I said to him tonight, I think you can be better. You know, I think if you believe in yourself a little bit more, up 147 pounds, you're going to cause a lot of problems. And I don't know who will beat him in that weight class. I said to him, look, we have Lewis Crocker. He's fighting Liam Parra. If we come through that, we could do a unification. He wants to fight Ryan Garcia. And I think that's probably one of the biggest fights in the sport with that build-up and the history. But, you know, he's his own man. Maybe one day we'll work together again. But he's in a really nice position. 3-division world champion, current welterweight world champion. But for me, Ryan Garcia against Devin Haney, with the history, is the one to make.
Hello, sir. Eddie, what was the final crowd count? Could you count?
We're waiting on it. I think it's 11,000 something. So it was nice to do the entire lower bowl, because sometimes you chop some of that off for production. Opened up the top tier, got nicely into that. I thought the crowd was phenomenal. Atmosphere, unbelievable. I think Phoenix is a fight city, Glendale, you know, I mean, it's very, you know, even when you look at the atmosphere from the prelims, you know, the guys that were selling the tickets, I mean, you struggle to get that kind of atmosphere for a main event on some shows that I see. And if you look at the atmosphere for the Jordan Martinez Cardenas fight, that was as good as any main event atmosphere you see on, dare I say, other shows. But, you know, sometimes our shows. And I actually think that, you know, I was talking to the team tonight about, I think that's a fight that has to be run back. And I appreciate it's not of the Navarrete levels, but there are other venues that hold 3,000-4,000 in Phoenix that fight alone would fill up on a rematch. So this is a wonderful, wonderful fight city. And as I always say to you, sir, educated crowd, educated audience. You know, they're walking around tonight, when you bringing Bam back here? You know, fuck Dana White. Oh, what it kind of Bam, man, yeah, and that's like, they follow everything.
Right.
You know, so that's a good crowd, not just in atmosphere, but a good crowd to be able to have conversation with, because they know they're boxing. And you see that in the atmosphere.
Here, the crowd is kind of part of the show, which I'm not sure we see too often from some promoters.
Say that again?
The crowd is like tonight. The crowd, the fans were reintroduced to the show.
Yeah, the fans and the crowd and the energy are so important, not just for the occasion, but for the fighters and how they perform, and also the product on TV. Like, ultimately, people are tuning in around the world. What happened with boxing was, people got lazy, and there was so much money from the TV rights that the gate revenue became less important in terms of the piece of the pie. And they gave up, and they went to smaller venues that cost less, with no union. And it was like, where can we stage an event as cheaply as possible? Rather than, how can we get the biggest crowd, create the best atmosphere, the greatest energy, and give everybody a night? I feel like everybody that leaves tonight goes, I had a great night. I've got value for money. I'm coming back. And that for us is key.
Eddie, I wanted to ask you a question. I wanted to get an update. I think all of us wanted to get an update on what's going on with Boots and Shakur Stevenson, especially Boots, because it appears that the other fight has drifted away? You know?
Possibly.
Possibly?
Possibly. Only possibly. I mean, look, firstly, Boots has got a multi-fight deal with us. Shakur we've been working with him fight by fight, so, you know, he's his own guy. I think he plans to come back in the summer. But as far as Boots goes, I think this week or the next few days is the last opportunity to make the Virgil Ortiz fight. I am still hopeful because I think it's the best fight in boxing in America. We have a job to do at the moment for Ciaran Ennis, and if we can't get Virgil Ortiz, the primary target for him is Xander Zayas, and that's a big fight. And of course, Josh Kelly, who is a Matchroom fighter, just won the IBF world title, so that's an opportunity as well. I just feel like those two, you know, I'd like to do Boots against Virgil Ortiz, Xander Zayas against Josh Kelly, and then the winners fight each other. And you know, but for me, we talked as a team the other day, you know, the promo team, the artwork team. What would we call Boots v Ortiz? You know, Mayweather Pacquiao's the one. I said we're just going to keep it simple. The best fight in American boxing. That's what we're going to call it because it really is. And if we can get it done, it'll invigorate the sport. And I haven't given up yet. So just give me a couple more days, and if I don't get it over the line, you can chat.
And one last question. I wanted to get your opinion on some comments that were made by Teofimo Lopez. He said that he followed the script, and that's what the fight ended in the way it did. So I just
Really?
Yeah.
Strange. He still blames me for losing to George Kambosos. I don't know what I had to do with it, but no, I mean, the script, there was no script, but if you were writing a script, you would say you just weren't good enough. And you fought one of the best fighters of our generation. That was all. And actually, you could see in the first 30 seconds of the fight what was going to happen in that fight, and it just played out every single round. But Teo's a great fighter, but Shakur's just on another level.
Eddie, good to see you again. So you re-signed Bam. I know that you really want to have the undisputed with Willibaldo Garcia. Update on that, and I know that there's one of the Maloney twins that wants to fulfill his mandatory. Any update on that?
Yeah, so obviously now planning the next fight with Robert and Bam, I think end of May, early June. Willibaldo Garcia has a mandatory against Maloney, which he can't get out of, and Maloney won't move. Not for step aside, not for a fight on the undercard to fight the winner, and I respect that. You know, that's he wants his shot. So we're talking to Box Stars about maybe staging that fight. I'm talking to Bam and Robert about maybe moving to bantamweight, maybe fighting Medina Chispo, who just fought on our show in Guadalajara. And then maybe returning to fight for the undisputed. But it's going to be difficult to fight that fight next, unless it happens very quickly, because we've made the decision that Bam will be having a big homecoming fight in the summer in San Antonio, which I think will be phenomenal. He deserves it. You know, if not, I'd bring him back here. But it's time to go to San Antonio, and if we can find a way to do undisputed, that'd be great. But if not, you may see him move up and try and win a third division championship before maybe coming back for the winner of that fight.
Over here, Eddie, what's the next move for Sugar Nunez, and you think he may become a world champion?
Yeah, for sure. Like, he's devastated at the moment. I have to say, what a fighter Navarrete is. I mean, I've watched a lot of boxing, probably nearly 40 years, and I've never seen a fighter so relaxed, so awkward, so dangerous. He wasn't breathing. I mean, they tell me he doesn't drink water till the 6th round. I mean, he doesn't look like this guy should fight like that. But coming into this fight, they said, oh, he has a new fitness trainer. He has a nutritionist now. Oh, and you saw the difference. When he doesn't take it so seriously, sometimes he becomes a little bit unstuck. When he does, which he clearly did in this fight, I think he's going to be very difficult to beat. And I said to Sugar Nunez, who's devastated, that's the best of the best. You know, some guy come up to me in the crowd, we didn't nearly have a fight, but before the fight he came up to me and he said, I'm telling you, Navarrete's on another level. You'll remember this conversation after the fight. I said, I don't agree, I think our guy's going to win. But listen, this is what it's about, right? Trying to be the best. And he said, no, and as the fight finished, I was walking back to him, I told you. I said, listen, this is what you have to do. You win the world championship, you defend it. You have to try and see if you can be the best. And if you can't be the best, that's okay. Oh no, I said, you shouldn't have put it in with him. What are you talking about? That's exactly what you should be doing. You should be chasing greatness. He made a lot of money tonight. He had a chance to become the superstar of the division, but he didn't. Everybody saw how much heart he had. Everybody saw that he didn't quit. Everybody saw that he couldn't see after the 6th, 7th round and never stopped. And even when the doctor pulled the fight, he just wanted to keep going. And I said to him, it's okay. You're just not the best yet. But he's probably second. And he'll be out for a while with the eye, 4 or 5 months. And then he'll be back, and I believe he'll be world champion again.
Congratulations on the great card. Around the 10th round in Nunez's corner, it got kind of chaotic. And I noticed that you were over there. Chavez stood up and was signaling that it should be stopped. Could you kind of describe the scene between the 10th and the 11th?
Yeah, I felt that Sugar was going to get stopped. He couldn't see, and at that stage there was no way of winning the fight. So for me, I hate going over to the corner because that's their job. But I felt like the fight should have been stopped. They left it in the hands of the doctor, and for me, the doctor should have stopped the fight that round before. But they gave him the opportunity, and you know, ultimately.
As we're using the white.
And they gave him the opportunity, but for me, when you can't win a fight from that position anymore, and when you can't see, and when there's a chance for further injury, I'm glad the fight was stopped when it was. But that was what I was doing, going over to see. It's not up to me to say, stop the fight, but I wanted the fight to be stopped at that point.
Eddie.
Last one for me, because you need to speak to the champ.
This is for both of you
Okay.
guys. Emmanuel Navarrete has been saying on a couple of interviews that it will be a dream for him to fight Shakur Stevenson. Would you be interested in making that fight? Because, well, he might have an awkward style of fighting, but it's very effective. And that might be the guy that can put Shakur in problems.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's a conversation for Carl and you know, probably Shakur as well. But for me, to beat Shakur Stevenson, you have to be exceptional, but you have to be able to cause him problems, and he does have the style that's going to cause everybody problems. You know, he's an incredible fighter. I think it's time. I think he's probably been on there before. Carl will be able to tell me, but I really feel like he should be on the pound for pound list. I really do. 3-division champion. I think he's been on there before. Carl was at some point, but
Well, if he hasn't, he certainly should be. I mean, I thought the difference was tonight, this was his 17th world title fight. And next to Canelo and Inoue, it's probably the most in boxing right now. So, you know, what you've seen in the past, whatever, it's all the result of tonight. Because when you're fighting world titles or challenging for world titles in different weight classes, it shines tonight. No disrespect to Nunez, he was the biggest puncher in the division. And I don't know, maybe it was a very competitive, one-sided fight. I guess you could look at it like that. And as the fight went on, he just hit a second gear and was counter-punching off the ropes. He was doing this, he was doing that. And the length is a problem for anybody in any division, and that's his best advantage. And, you know, I don't even know if he showered. He looks like he didn't even do anything tonight, and he's perfected. He doesn't have a fucking clue of what I'm saying right now. But that's okay.
Ciaran, come here. I'm gonna leave you guys, Carl, everybody. No, but Ciaran's gonna come and translate. Anyway, congratulations, champ. Well done, well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tienes que estar en la lista de Liverpool. Puedes abrir con algunos comentarios, hablar un poco de la pelea y yo te traigo.
Okay. Buenas noches a todos, muchas gracias por estar aquí. Creo que debo de agradecer principalmente a Sugar que tomó el reto. Se mostró siempre fuerte ante una pelea difícil, complicada, al menos así lo percibí yo. y pues continúo agradeciendo a él y también agradeciendo a toda la gente de Phoenix que ahora pues creo que se está consolidando como la casa de vaquero Navarrete. La gente aquí me aprecia mucho, eso lo estoy sintiendo ahora y creo que me da mucho gusto a todo mi equipo y a mí sentir ese cariño tan especial aquí en Phoenix, en Glendale, en el Diamond Arena y pues agradecer esa parte a todos. Yo creo que todos vimos una gran pelea. Espero que Sugar se recupere, siga su camino. Y yo pues estoy contento de haber unificado después de mucho tiempo, de haber por primera vez pedido la unificación.
So first I want to say hi to everyone and thank you very much for being here. I want to also say thank you to Sugar for taking up the challenge. It was a difficult fight for him, but you know, I believe that it was a really good fight tonight. I want to also say thank you to the people of Phoenix. This has kind of become Vaquero Navarrete's second home. I feel appreciated here, and the whole team feel the love that I get from you guys in Phoenix and in Glendale. I want to say thank you as well. I think from my point of view, it was a great fight tonight. I'm hoping that Sugar Nunez can come back soon. He can recover as well and get back on the road to recovery. And for me, it was wonderful to finally unify the division. It's been a long time coming, and so to do that tonight was wonderful.
Yo para Chicana Boxing. Felicidades de tu victoria, Emmanuel. Vi que en el como 10 rounds estaban diciendo que la gente de atrás que tal vez tú no querías noquear a Sugar Nunez, que tal vez estás teniendo un poquito de lástima. ¿Hay una verdad sobre eso, que le tenías lástima? Porque es lo que está diciendo el público.
No, la verdad, esto es profesionalismo, esto es un deporte, es un deporte que de repente parece ser muy cruel porque justo lo que dices, ¿no? Ver a Sugar sangrando, lastimado y presentando esa posición, yo creo que más que todo se merece respeto, pero no, siempre tomo esto como algo personal, un reto personal y deportivo, y también sería como falta de respeto hacia mi carrera, ¿no? Hacia mi trabajo, hacia todo lo que hice, a mi equipo también por intentar o querer hacer eso. Yo creo que es una falta de respeto. Lo llevamos muy profesionalmente todo. Sugar siempre se portó con oposición, siempre fue un peleador fuerte a pesar de que estaba de alguna forma disminuido, y yo creo que se terminó como se tenía que terminar, nada más. Siempre agradecer esa parte de Sugar, esa fortaleza y ese ímpetu que mostró hasta el final.
So the question was, first, in that 10th round, it seemed as though you didn't want to, you know, some people were saying that you didn't want to knock out Sugar Nunez, and also you kind of felt pity for him as you were going through that 10th round. Is that true? And Vaquero's answer was, you know, no, we're professionals, and this sport can look cruel at times, and I'm sure when you saw to see Sugar cut, hurt, you know, that might have seemed the case, but it wasn't the case. And I think it would be, I have great respect for Sugar going into that fight. And I wouldn't make that decision for personal and sporting reasons. I would never do that. I think it would be a lack of respect to the work I've put in, a lack of respect to my career and also my team to do that. But yeah, all I can say is that Sugar came in, he was a really strong fighter. Despite being hurt, he continued to fight. And you know, I'm just grateful to him for showing that impetus and that willingness to want to continue in the fight tonight.
Vaquero, te saluda Ramón Cortés de Somos 6 Sport. Felicidades por el triunfo. Y esta pregunta la tengo desde que estuviste aquí con Valdés, que me tocó cubrir. En esa ocasión dijiste que te retirabas, pero oye, regresaste con 2 peleas y hoy regresas con esta, con todo respeto al Sugar Nunez, una cátedra de boxeo. ¿Hay vaquero para rato? ¿Qué viene para ti a tus 31 años?
No, pues la verdad nunca dije que me retiraba, solamente comenté pues que obviamente estoy pensando en no hacer una carrera tan prolongada, tan longeva. Yo creo que estoy llevando bien los tiempos. Digo, también vino una lesión que me retrasó un poco en mis tiempos de planificación en el boxeo. Estoy muy contento, te digo, pues la verdad apenas vimos el resultado de una nueva etapa como peleador, hicimos cosas nuevas que nos dieron un muy buen resultado, creo que hubo prueba de ello ahora en esta pelea. Y pues yo creo que lejos de pensar y acelerar como los planes, yo creo que vamos a tomar un tiempillo, pues descansar poquito para relajarnos, estar con la familia y de ahí pensar en qué viene. Seguramente viene algo, pues yo creo que es espectacular, ¿no? Viene algo muy bueno. Creo que estamos en la antesala de una pelea súper impresionante. Por ahí salió algo que la verdad a mí obviamente me interesa bastante, ¿no? La noche de México contra el mundo, que anunció apenas Turki. Yo creo que quien no quisiera estar como peleador, quien no quisiera estar en esa noche, ¿no? Es algo increíble. Soportar esa noche con Canelo sería increíble, ¿no? Pero, pues te digo, es prematuro pensar en eso ahora. Ahorita hay que tomar las cosas con calma, estar tranquilos, relajarnos un poco y pues ya con tiempo ver las cartas en la mesa, lo que puede venir y ya tomar la decisión. Pero yo seguramente va a venir algo muy importante. También sin alargar tanto, creo que también por ahí está el pendiente con Suárez. Entonces también hay muchas cosas por las que no puedo tomar una decisión tan rápida.
So the question was, hi, congratulations on the victory. This is a question I wanted to ask you last time I was here after the Valdez fight, but I didn't get a chance to ask you this question. You said you were retiring on that occasion, and you came back today with this performance. I just wanted to know what your thoughts were in terms of your career at now 31, which you are. No, I didn't actually say that. I just said that I didn't expect to have such a prolonged career and have so much longevity within my career. And I also, at that time, I was coming off an injury, so that kind of messed around with my plans a little bit. But I was really happy with what I saw tonight. I feel like I'm going into a new stage of my career. We tried new things out tonight, and you saw the fruit of that labor in the ring tonight. We put it to the test. So I feel like I'm far away from retiring at the moment. But right now, I'd like to relax, take some time to spend some time with my family. I'm sure there's going to be some spectacular things on the horizon for me. There's also an interesting night ahead in the future, Mexico v. the World, that I think was just announced by Turkey. Who wouldn't want to be on a night like this, to have the possibility of possibly supporting Canelo? But it's really a bit premature to talk about things at the moment. I want to just keep calm and see what I've got coming in the future, see what cards lay on the table. I've also got the impending fight as well with Charlie Suarez as well. So we just have to take our time and see what's coming next, and I'll let you all know what's coming soon.
One option available to you would be to drop the WBO belt and not fight Suarez and go to a fight against O'Shaquie Foster. Is that something that you could consider, you could see yourself considering?
Otra opción también sería no tomar la pelea con Charles Suárez, dejar de un lado el cinturón de WBO y enfrentar a O'Shaquie Foster. No sé si te interesaría esa pelea con él.
Sí, hace un rato comenté también que de momento, hace unos días para acá, con la presencia de O'Shaquie Foster aquí, se abren otras pues, nuevas metas, ¿no? Por conseguir. Yo creo que el unificar una división ahora apareció en mis metas, pues, por decir algo. Yo creo que sería interesante pensar en unificar completamente la división. Creo que pues podría ser muy interesante en mi carrera. Yo creo que es muy, yo creo que podría ser muy favorable, ¿no? Pero, pues te digo, es importante también tomar las cosas con calma, barajar las cosas en la mesa bien y saber qué podemos hacer, ¿no? Pero hay muchas cosas, no solamente está eso, hay muchas cosas, incluso, ¿por qué no pensar en 35, no? 135 también es una buena idea, pero de momento me saturo la cabeza y yo creo que eso es malo. Hay que tomar las cosas con mucha calma. Está también aquí mi apoderado Alejandro Brito, que también él es una mente detrás de todo esto, este proyecto, de esta carrera, que también pues tiene unas ideas importantes y también hay que escucharlo. Él puede planificar también mejor y saber qué es lo que puede convenir, ¿no? Para esta carrera, para esta nueva etapa y también pues sin dejar de lado esa idea pues de retirarme no tan grande.
So, obviously the answer to this question was yes at the moment. I had different goals going into this fight. You know, I wanted to unify the division, which was an important opportunity for me. We know that O'Shaquie Foster was here this week, so that would be quite an interesting thing to go and completely unify the division, which I've just fought in now. It would be an important step for my career, but it's important to just take things with calm at the moment, kind of shuffle the cards and see what comes out. There's also the option of moving to 135 pounds as well. That's an idea, but again, take things with calm. My representative Alejandro Brito is here, and he always comes up with ideas, and I always listen to his plans. So I think it's about just working out what's next in this stage of my career and not making kind of quick decisions, because your head can get too full with too many things at once. So I just want to take things with calm at the moment and work out what's next.
Thank you.
Pero muchas felicidades, güey. Creo que te acabas de consolidar como el mejor peleador mexicano de la actualidad. Tengo un par de preguntas. El Sugar ha sido el peleador más fuerte de pegada con el que te has enfrentado, y la segunda es, pues, es el primer campamento en el cual involucras ya un nutriólogo, un mejor preparador físico, y pues me platicabas que te sientes muy bien, y por ahí comentabas que inclusive te interesaba bajar a la 126 para enfrentar al Divino Espinosa. ¿Es algo que todavía piensas que sí puedes dar la 126 después de cómo te sentiste en el pesaje y el día de hoy?
No, pues yo creo que de las 26 la verdad sí sería algo, algo loco, pues no creo que sea posible. La verdad siento que ya estaría haciendo algo malo, ¿no? Yo creo que no llegaría muy bien ya en óptimas condiciones para mostrar el nivel. Aparte el Divino, pues olvídate, es un peleadorazo también, es un peleador muy fuerte y aguerrido, y sería difícil, ¿no? Pero pues vemos, ¿no? La verdad no creo, pero pues también igual no es una opción pues en la mesa también. Lo de pelear con Sugar y sentirlo como el peleador más fuerte que he enfrentado tiene que ver muchas cosas, ¿no? No quiero ser tan largo porque se batalla, pero creo que pegada no tanto porque no pegue, sino que yo creo que fue muy difícil encontrarme, y eso cambia todo, no me pudo agarrar tan sólido como él hubiera querido, yo creo, y eso pues cambia todo, ¿no? Como te digo, y de lo de ser el peleador de la cara de México, no, la verdad es un título que la verdad pues no me adjudico, no, creo que hay muchos peleadores en México con muy buen nivel, y la verdad pues no, yo estoy bien, estoy haciendo muy bien trabajo. Si ustedes lo piensan así, pues muchas gracias, pero creo que faltan muchas cosas todavía por avanzar y conseguir.
So there are two questions here. First, I wanted to ask you, do you feel like you're one of the best current Mexican fighters that exists at the moment? And I wanted to also ask you about Sugar Nunez as well, about how hard he hits. Is he the hardest hitter you faced? And then the second part of that question as well, I wanted to ask you about, you took on board a nutritionist for this fight, and I was wondering whether, how that made you feel, and whether that means that you could potentially fight at 126 pounds and face Divino Espinosa. Would that be something you could do? Vaquero's answer was, I think 126 pounds is a bit crazy, really. I don't think it's possible. I think it might also be bad for me. Apart from anything as well, Divino is a wonderful fighter. He's a great warrior. But also, let's not completely rule out that option as well. And then you asked me about Sugar Nunez and about his power. I feel, you could feel obviously his strength and his power in there, but I don't think he was able to solidly connect with me in the way that he would have liked to. So it's very difficult to give you an answer on how hard he hit, because he didn't actually connect clean with me. And then whether or not with regard to the first part of the question, I'm going to be the face of Mexican boxing, then that's not for me to decide. There's some great fighters out there. That's for you to decide. We've still got a lot to do, and we're not quite yet.
Last question, please.
Última pregunta.
Felicidades, Vaquero. Eres una persona muy humilde, pero al mismo tiempo que hace esta pregunta en su pelea con Nunez.
No se escucha muy bien, Hablamos fuerte.
Felicidades, Vaquero. ¿Por qué nada es fácil en el boxeo, pero por qué se fue tan fácil? Utilizas tu distancia, los ángulos, La defensa, le metiste los uppers, ¿qué fue lo que más fue exitoso para usted hoy esta noche?
No, no fue fácil, completamente equivocado, la verdad. Fueron 2 meses de trabajo bien intenso, poco más de 2 meses. Creo que la clave de todo fue los sparrings que utilicé. Fue un trabajo muy específico el que realizamos y el estar preparándote, entrenándote todo el tiempo para un estilo similar al de Sugar, yo creo que fue la clave, ¿no? El trabajar con estas personas me ayudó a desarrollar el plan perfecto y pues se notó, la verdad, neutralizamos yo creo que a Sugar desde la preparación. Eso fue lo más ideal, lo más como fácil en cuanto a la preparación, pero fueron, te digo, 2 meses de trabajo, de constancia, de andar recibiendo muchos golpes. La verdad yo no lo noté nada fácil. Digo, en la pelea se vino a refrendar solamente lo que se hizo en la preparación, pero pues sí, aparentemente ustedes solamente ven la parte de la pelea, pero se olvidan un poco de repente de los meses de trabajo, de la abstinencia. La primera vez que hago dieta y es complicado también, el después del entrenamiento ir al gimnasio a hacer físico también es complicado. Creo que por hoy al menos esta preparación y esta pelea lo llevé a cabo como un profesional, un boxeador profesional realmente, y sí es completamente difícil, es complicado. Yo creo que no hubiera aguantado tantos años después de que debuté ahora, llevando el proceso siempre como lo hice ahora. Fue complicado, fue difícil, pero pues gracias al trabajo de preparación, hoy al menos se mostró sencillo.
So the question is, congratulations first and foremost, Vaquero. I wanted to ask you about the fight tonight. You're very humble, but it seemed very easy for you tonight. Why was it? Was it the distance? Was it the range? Was it angles? Was it your defense? Was it the uppercuts you were able to land? Vaquero's answer was no, it's not easy. You're totally wrong in that respect. I've had 2 months of really intense, hard work, but I feel that the key to my victory and making it look easy was the fact that I had some really good sparrings leading up to this fight. And I think being able to prepare and having the correct sparring to suit the style of my opponent tonight was key. And I think we were able to develop the plan perfectly and almost neutralize Sugar Nunez's abilities tonight. So we had the ideal preparation going into this, but it was 2 months of consistent hard work. Also, it was probably one of the first times I'd paid total attention to the diet as well. You guys perhaps only see what goes into the fight night, and you see the results and what we've put in, but it's about being on that diet, constantly going to the gym and preparing in that way. I feel like I might not have had that many. If I had done that from day one, maybe I wouldn't have continued fighting that now, because it was really, really tough, and that was the process we had to work on today. But I feel like that was the hard work we put in that you saw paid off tonight on fight night.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias a
Thank you.
todos. Muchas gracias.